scale your wholesale real estate business. Guys, it's Rick Ginn. In today's video, I'm going to show you the key things you have to do before you scale your wholesale business. I'm going to show you the difference between scaling and what you're doing now. And most importantly, I'm going to show you the steps to actually progress and scale your business so you don't burn yourself out in wholesaling. But before I do that, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so other people can find the truth out about wholesaling. So before I show you how to scale your wholesaling business, I have 3 requirements before you decide to scale. And if you skip these 3 requirements, you most likely won't make it to the scaling phase in your wholesale business. At this point, it's probably you're a solopreneur and you're running this business. That's how I got started, it's how Zach got started, and that's how you should be started. Meaning you shouldn't have a bunch of employees, you shouldn't have complicated systems. You actually have to go out and market and locate and communicate with motivated sellers. So at this point, rule number 1 is basically you are using what we call the hustle. What's hustle? It means you are forcefully going out there and getting leads. How are you doing it? The hustle has to come down to step number 2, which is what we call outbound. At this point, you should be putting all your hustle into outbound marketing. What is outbound marketing? You're driving for dollars. You're cold calling. I mean, some of you guys are going door to door. It's basically manually going out there and just tapping on everyone. Hey, do you have a house you need to sell? And finding motivated leads. It requires a lot of effort. It actually requires little to no money. It will require an extraordinary amount of time and energy on your part. This is where wholesalers are made or they're broken. And some people want to jump into scaling before doing this. If you don't use your hustle muscle to do the outbound marketing and do these techniques right off the bat, pulling your government list, the odds of you making it are going to be challenging because these 2 right here all leads to my final rule. You ready? 5 deals. What does that mean? Here's what I'm telling you right now. Don't consider scaling until you've done 5 deals. Why? My numbers over the last 21 years show that if you can get to 5 deals, you most likely are going to do very well in wholesaling. Most people get stuck on deals 1 through 3. And by doing 5 deals, like Rick, what does 5 deals mean? It means you've got the hustle, you have the mentality, and you have shown a commitment to wholesaling. And now you're ready to consider how to scale your business. Because the reality is, if you stick in the hustle, you're going to have to work it through at least 2 seasons. A lot of people say, oh, you just need to do 1 season. I tell you, a lot of times, some people can do this just for 3 months or 6 months. Some people have to do it for 2 years. We're all in different markets with different capabilities. But here's the rule. Before we move any further, got to do 5 deals before we consider moving on to scaling your wholesale business. Because if you don't get to 5, you're just going to blow through a ton of money and you're going to outspend yourself and you're going to wind up quit wholesaling. So hustle, outbound marketing, 5 deals. So now we're talking about the difference of outbound marketing versus inbound. So right now, deals 1 through 5, this is what it looks like. You have a graph here, and this is going to be time, and this is going to be your deal flow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually you get out here to 5. So this is the number of deals, and we'll also consider this time. So I don't have a complicated graph here. So the idea is we all start right here. We're at like 0. So to get to momentum, we got to use the outbound. You got to use your hustle muscle. And here's what it's going to look like. You're going to start out right about here, and it's going to be very flat, and then it'll start to exponentially go up. And so what happens here, just to show you how this works, is the amount of time you have to do when you first do this. And here's the problem. You, as a solopreneur, you just run out of time. You are maxed by doing outbound marketing. There's only so much one person can do. And this is, if you've gotten the deal 5, a lot of you are stuck on this. Let's figure out how we can get past that and progress you to do inbound marketing so you can actually scale your wholesaling business. So the question is now, how do we scale? The easiest way to scale is you're going to switch to inbound. Now, if you can do inbound and outbound at the same time, awesome. You're probably going to need some help. Let me show you how to do this. So on inbound, one of the easiest ones you can start out doing is reverse driving for dollars. That's simply taking your list, like the code violations, the pre-foreclosures, doing a sticky note. You can get them pre-printed so you can scale it. and you can go out and put them out. You can do it yourself. You can pay a staff member. You can pay someone you want to do a joint venture with. This is a great way to scale. Why? Because it has a high connection rate because everybody wants to call that note. The next one's going to be texting. Extremely scalable, especially for you alone. There are some compliance issues with you in getting it delivered. The next one's going to be an obvious one, which is direct mail. And we'll talk more about this. We're going to talk about bandit signs. Yes, they still work. I get deals off of them. I love people who shake their head out. It's one of the best starting ways to get inbound leads and scale your business. And then you have things such as PPC. So the idea is we're going to talk about a majority of them right here. And I want to show you the questions you have to ask yourself before you decide which inbound marketing to take to scale your wholesaling business. So there's 4 key questions we have to ask ourselves before we consider scaling any type of marketing device for our wholesaling business. And this is going to hold true, and you got to make sure you answer these questions. Obviously, the big one's going to be cost. What's the cost? The problem is most wholesalers look at the cost as an expense and they get scared. We need to show you how to convert cost to the word investment. If you're thinking of marketing as a cost, you are in your old mindset and you're stuck. You can't scale if you think of everything as a cost. I look at whatever my expense in marketing is as an investment and what type of ROI do I get on it. I'll show you how to do that. So the next one is the time commitment. So at this point, a lot of you are working by yourself and you're already maxed out. You go, Rick, I am maxed out with outbound marketing. How am I going to take on inbound marketing and do it? You have to answer this question, because if you don't have an answer for this, nothing I can do to show you to scale your business is going to work. Make sure you have a plan for this, because you're going to see the time commitment takes a lot of people out when it comes to scaling their business, because the whole point of why you scaled is so you could get back more time, so you could increase your deal flow in wholesaling. The next one is, how long is this going to work? Meaning, what's its longevity? Guys, in the last 7 years, there's been more shiny object syndromes thrown your way towards marketing, all these cute devices, all these let's crash the data and do all stuff, and it's all coming back to fruition. It's one of our challenges in texting, which we'll talk about, is the last thing you want to do is do something that's only going to work for a year. It is exhausting. It'll wear you out. You need to learn the fundamentals of how to scale your wholesaling business, and by doing little one-trick ponies, it's going to set you backwards, because you're constantly going to keep jumping to each type of these strategies. So whatever method you decide to scale your wholesaling marketing, make sure it has longevity. It's going to last. And then the last one is we have to make sure it's legal and compliant. There's a lot of methods out there that honestly, they're just nobody even knows if they're legal. If you have to ask yourself, is it even legal? Consider this. It's going to take you 100+ hours to master each one of those scaling events in wholesaling. The last thing you want to do is put a couple hundred hours into something that's going to be deemed illegal that you can't use, because it's just a huge waste of time. Stick to the fundamentals. Make sure whichever scaling event you do for your marketing and wholesaling, that it has a proven track record and it's legal. Once you answer these 4 questions, we can move forward in scaling our business. So the whole purpose of scaling is what? Increase leads and deals. That's it. It's all we're trying to do. Once we've answered the 4 questions, we know which one we want to gravitate towards, because we want to put time and energy into it, and you're going to get better as time goes along. Do not pick something that's only going to work for a few months or even a year. It's not worth it. So what I want to do is run through the most common scaling marketing methods people use in wholesaling, and I want to show you what the cost and most importantly, the time commitment for it is, and then you can make an educated decision on what is best for your business. So here's what I want to do. I'm just going to do it like a simple graph, because I'm a visual guy and I like to see how things work. So I'm not like a graph specialist. I just want to give you a visual of how it looks. So if we start and look, I want to give you an idea of what something costs, give you an idea of the return on the investment, and most importantly, what kind of time commitment it's going to be. Because some of you are still working as a solopreneur, which is perfectly fine. Unfortunately, I did it for 7 years. I could have stopped doing it after 2 years. I'm hoping I can save someone from that mistake. So the first one we put on here is pay per click. Why? It works. I'm not even going to hide that fact from you. The problem with pay per click, definitely the most expensive, and what you also have to understand, it takes a certain level of experience. But understanding it is a huge, huge commitment. Think about this. When a lead comes in, you got less than 3 minutes to answer it before they lose their attention. Maybe 5 minutes, depending if it's Facebook, Instagram. So I want you to understand this. If you decide to do it, especially if you did it yourself, you have just created yourself a full-time job and you haven't scaled. Now, what these companies do is they sell you, hey, we'll handle everything for you. Remember, it's on their platform, they're in control, and what you have to do is you're gonna have to commit to them 6 months to a year. Guys, this is the most expensive, in my opinion, the riskiest one. And if you do not have cash flow or the skill sets to understand it, I would not start with pay-per-click, because the huge time commitment and the huge amount of budget it takes. But they do work. But I would not start scaling with pay-per-click if you're going from outbound marketing to inbound marketing. I'm gonna put on the next one, and I'm just giving you a graph of what this is. This is gonna be SMS, which is texting. This one I like a lot. Now, and I'll show you what the big issues with this. Now, the SMS is you have to use a platform to do it. If you want to find out, go over to freewholesaling.com. But unlike the time commitment, I'm going to put it right about here, because I can send out 1,500 or 2,000 texts. The challenge on this is going to be delivery rates. Because texting's been so abused over the last 7 years, the carriers are coming down onto it. And the problem is now we're using AI to rotate phone numbers, rotate the speech on the dialogue you're having with them, and it is challenging. SMS is one of my favorite scalable ones. The problem is the effectiveness is gotten so much lower. We're hoping that changes over time, but this is one of the prettiest ones to do it if you're working by yourself and you don't have a lot of time. It is probably the most efficient of all methods. As I said, the challenge is the delivery from the carriers. So the next one I'm gonna do here is direct mail. And I get a lot of questions on direct mail. People are like, oh, it's so slow. It's like, it doesn't work anymore. Those are people that don't understand how direct mail works. If you truly want to understand how it works, I pull the veil back. I show you my 21 years experience. Go to mailingmastery.com. Now, it is going to cost some money. But as I said, we're not looking at cost. We're looking for a return on investment. My average return on investment for direct mail is 5 times return on investment. Now, you're not going to start out doing that. You go to Mailing Mastery. I'll show you how to get 2 times return on your money within 90 days. You have to commit to 90 days doing direct mail. Remember, you are switching your mentality. You need a ton of leads. You're going to have some automation. It's far from perfect, but we have created enough systems in Flip with Rick where I've mastered direct mail. And what you got to understand, my favorite part about direct mail that nobody wants to talk about is it is legal, meaning it's perfectly legal. You can't get in trouble for it. You pay for the postage. It's with the United States Postal System. It's legal. It's never going to be outlawed. And if you're asking me what the time commitment, if you do it right the way we teach it, it's a little bit more of a time commitment, in my opinion, than SMS. Now, it's going to cost you more. It's significantly cheaper than pay-per-click. And this is what I recommend when you first start out scaling. And here's a little secret. 70 to 75% of the big wholesalers rely on direct mail. Why? It works. It's effective. It's not going away. And I like to do postcards. Go to mailingmastery.com, freewholesaling.com. I'll show you exactly how to do it. If direct mail is probably one of the first steps you should take towards scaling your wholesaling business, because you can work yourself in. The magic here is you got to commit to 90 days. Anything less is a waste of time. So let's also talk about some more here. Reverse driving for dollars. This is where you're just leaving the notes on it. The cool part is it's not expensive at all. It's a very low expense. It's going to have somewhat of a time commitment. Now, here's where you can scale and get people to help you out. You run the list, you come up with the route, and you put it in there. Why do we like it? Because it has a high response rate. It's awesome. Everybody responds to a note on their door. Now, guys, I'm just doing the brutally obvious ones, and some of them you don't think about. Another one a lot of you do not consider are bandit signs. What? People do that? Yeah, they work. Here's the difference. Don't go out and buy 500. Go out, put 10 to 20 signs in one area. It's going to take some effort. This is some things where you can scale and have people go out there and do it for you. About the same effort as reverse driving for dollars. I would use the same person, and that way you can utilize the economies of scales. You put out bandit signs. I show you how to do it. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Bandit signs still work, print on one side. But guys, I want to show you the visual effect of what most people look at for scaling their business. And to me, direct mail is always the obvious because it's scalable. You get a great return. And remember, if you spend, so people always ask, what's the average you spend on direct mail? The average wholesaler that starts out usually starts out with a $3,000 to $5,000 budget per month. So if I was going to commit at $3,000, you have to set aside $9,000. You have to commit to a schedule. Go to mailingmastery.com and show you how to do it. But guys, the whole idea of this is so you can scale your business. Because once you do this, your lead flow is going to go up drastically. So you're probably saying, well, Rick, you drew that first graph of me doing this manual, and eventually I just run out of time. And that's going to be the inbound. So on the outbound, you're thinking, Rick, okay, well, I'm still going to have this same problem to a point, but you're going to keep your time. And then basically, this is how you improve your economy of scale, is you're going to hire people to help facilitate and handle the leads, because now you have money and you can scale your business. With this, it's just you. And if it's just you, there are limits. And if you want to get out of this trap, which most wholesalers get stuck in, you have to come down and you have to do outbound marketing. Now, I can't make you do it. I can only show you how to do it. One of the reasons why we have you use the hustle muscle first and really cut your teeth and get 5 deals is because the journey of wholesaling has this in common. 5 deals. This will put you preferably in a full-time position in wholesaling, so you can dedicate all your time. How do you do that? 5 deals. 5 deals should get you close to 100K or well on your way to it. And then the best part is you are now a skilled or a better negotiator. And the negotiator is where it pays off. Because when you did these 5 deals, you had thousands and thousands of conversations, and now you can monetize that skill set because now you know how to talk to people. So now we can scale your wholesaling business and we can get you a great return on your investment, whichever avenue you choose to do. So guys, if you truly want to scale your wholesaling business, get to 5 deals. Use your hustle muscle, go crazy with it. Don't hire anyone else. Just focus on marketing and meeting with sellers, writing contracts. Once you hit that 5, reach out to me. I will show you how to scale your business. It is not as complicated as everybody makes it, but we got to get the 5 deals. Why? Because I know you're cut out for wholesaling. If you can get the 5, you can get off the JV team and get on the varsity wholesaling team with me and Zach. Let me know if you want to join us. If you got value from this video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so other people can find the truth out about wholesaling. And guys, I'm hoping to see you on the other side to scale your wholesaling business. This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you in the next video.